For premium car manufacturers, the compact class is a big deal. Yes, for decades now, you have the stalwart models within the lineup that have their own enduring appeal. But for a lot of these brands, it is actually the compact class cars that are helping to bring in new customers. So, take BMW for example. Models like the 3 Series and 5 Series continue to be mainstays in the lineup. However, we're increasingly seeing more and more of its compact class models on the road. And it's no surprise. Positioned at the lower end of the lineup, these models tend to be more affordable and therefore more accessible to more people. Today, let's look at two cars that have proved outstanding in their respective segments, emerging as our premium hatchback of the year and our premium compact sedan of the year, the BMW 1 Series and the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe. Within the compact class, it pays to have options. For people who prefer the hatchback body style, you have the 1 Series. The hatchback tailgate offers more practicality in terms of boot accessibility. Those who prefer a sedan body style have the choice of the 2 Series Gran Coupe, which is certainly the more stylish and sporty looking choice of the two. Regardless of which model you choose, you'll be sure that you're getting a premium, high-tech and high-quality interior. And actually, sitting here inside the cabin, you'll be hard-pressed to tell the differences between this car, which is the 1 Series, and the 2 Series Gran Coupe. The cabins are basically identical. And if you look around, this is effectively the same cabin equipment, the same design that you'll find even in the more expensive models, all the way up to the 8 Series. With ample features, equipment, and high-quality materials, you'll never for a moment feel like you're sitting in a cheaper model. And that's a real plus, right? I mean, when you buy into the premium segment, what you really want is that consistent sense of quality. And here you really get what you pay for. Obviously, these are compact cars, so interior space is going to be a little bit on the smaller side. However, I will say that the move to a front-wheel drive platform has actually freed up a little bit more space in the rear, so now actually your rear passengers can sit pretty comfortably. On the road, the 1 Series feels quite comfortable, it's quiet, it's quite agile and generally very easy to drive. I mean, I do like that the suspension is quite well judged, so it strikes a nice balance between being comfortable but still being a little bit sporty when you want it to be. So in this 116i, we actually have a 107 brake horsepower, 1.5 litre engine. And yeah, those are quite modest figures. I think generally if you're driving it sort of lightly and at light loads, it's a perfectly usable engine, right? You know, it's smooth, there's enough power even when you're cruising along at 90 km per hour. Obviously, when you do want to overtake, if you put your foot down, there's not that much power left in the top of the rev range, so I would say give yourself additional half a second. So yeah, it takes a while, but you know, that's an occasional thing, right? I think for most of the time that you're driving, this engine works. Obviously, the big plus with this engine is the fact that it slots this car into Cat A, so instantaneously that makes this car, what, $26,000 cheaper than if it was a Cat B car. On the road, the 2GC actually serves up a pretty rewarding driving experience. I must say, it's a pretty nice car to drive. So because this car has a slightly longer and lower body compared to the 1 Series, it actually feels a little bit more stuck to the tarmac, and this is especially true when you're going around corners. And this engine, we also get a little bit more power, so here we have 138 brake horsepower and 220 Nm of torque. And because the engine is definitely more willing to build the revs to let you carry speed, when you just put your foot down, yeah, the car picks up speed nicely. Here we also have a bunch of safety systems. So on this car, we have a front collision warning, lane departure warning with steering intervention, and lane change warning. So the good thing about this is that, you know, if you're drifting out of the lane, yeah, the car will pull you back into the lane, and that's quite useful, right? Useful for if you're feeling a little bit tired or whatsoever and you start to drift out of the lane, yeah, the car will pull you back into the lane. So that's good. That's good for safety, and It's not a very intrusive system. I do like that some of the, if you turn off the steering intervention, a lot of the warning actually comes in the form of vibration in the steering wheel, so you don't have big lights going off everywhere. It's just, it vibrates to tell you, okay, pay attention. And that's good, right? You don't want it to be super intrusive. Yes, these two cars are very similar. They're built on the same platform and use many of the same components as well. So aside from the power and COE differences, you're getting a very similar premium experience all around. So the real question here is, which body style do you prefer? Do you want a hatchback or do you want a sedan? But know that whichever you choose, you're getting a classy, premium and generously equipped compact car. And that's why the 1 Series is our premium hatchback of the year and the 2 Series Gran Coupe is our premium compact sedan of the year.